Namaste class. Let us begin with Arabian Sea branch. The southwest monsoon wind originated over the Arabian Sea further splits into the three branches. So here in last lecture we are discussing the southwest monsoons. So southwest monsoon that are originating from Arabian Sea, from two places they are originating. One is they are originating from Arabian Sea and other is they are originating from Bay of Bengal. Okay, so the southwest monsoon wind originating over the Arabian Sea, they split into three branches. Its one branch is obstructed by the Western Ghat. These winds go up the slopes of the Western Ghat, become cool, and bring heavy rain in the windward side of the Sahyadris and the western coastal plain. So, what we see that from Arabian Sea, one branch, it is striking the Western Ghat. It is going up the slope in Western Ghat and there it cools and then it brings the rain. After crossing the Ghat, these wind descend, get heated up and thereby the humidity in the wind is reduced. So once they cross Western Ghat, most of the moisture is already fall in the form of rain. When it descend after crossing this Ghat, they get heated up because of this hot weather. They get heated up and thereby the humidity in the wind is reduced. Consequently, this wind causes little rainfall east of the Western Ghat, that is in the rain shadow area. So east of the Western Ghat, that is a rain shadow area, there we receive a little rainfall. The second branch of the Arabian Sea, branch of monsoon wind strikes the coast north of Mumbai, and these wind move further along the Narmada and Tapi river valley and causes a fair amount of rainfall in the central India. So from second branch we see that there is a fair amount of rainfall in central India. The Chota Nagpur plateau receives 15 centimeter of rainfall from this branch. After that it enters the Ganga plain and mingle with the Bay of Bengal branch. So from there it enters in the Ganga plain and there it mixes with the Bay of Bengal branch. The third branch strikes the Satpura Peninsula and the Kutch. The third branch, it strikes the Satpura Peninsula and Kutch. After that, it passes over the West Rajasthan and along the Aravallis, causing a scanty rainfall. So, after that, it passes over the West Rajasthan and along the Aravallis, causing a scanty rainfall. So, a very little rainfall. The third branch, it strikes the Satpura Peninsula and Kutch region. And after this it passes over West Rajasthan and along Aravallis, causing a very little rainfall. The Arabian Sea branch joins the Bay of Bengal branch in Punjab and Haryana, and together these two branches causes rainfall in the western Himalaya. So this Arabian Sea branch, we have seen that it divided in three parts. One part strikes the Western Ghat, other part it strikes the north of Mumbai, and from there it moves in the central part of the India, and the third branch it enters from the Satpura Peninsula region, and there it passes through the Rajasthan, and very little amount of rainfall it provide in these regions, and after that it mixes with the Bay of Bengal branch, and then it causes a rainfall in the western Himalaya. The Bay of Bengal branch is directed towards the coast of Myanmar and part of southeast Bangladesh. So this Bay of Bengal branch, it is directing towards the coast of Myanmar and part of southeast Bangladesh. However, owing to the presence of Arkan Hill along the coast of Myanmar, a large part of this branch of monsoon is deflected towards the Indian subcontinent. Now from there, from that Myanmar, okay, because of hills, Arkan hills we say, Okay, these monsoon winds, they deflect towards the Indian subcontinent. The monsoon therefore enters in West Bengal and Bangladesh from south and southeast instead of southwesterly direction. So this monsoon, it enters in the West Bengal and Bangladesh from south and southeast direction instead of southwesterly direction. Now this branch bifurcate into two branches, one along the Ganga plain and the other along the Brahmaputra valley. So this monsoon which is coming from Bay of Bengal, okay, now it divided into branch. One goes along the Ganga plain and the other goes along the Brahmaputra valley. These branches cause widespread rain in the Ganga plain, Brahmaputra valley and Garo and Kasi hills of Meghalaya. Cherrapunji and Mawsynram, located on the crest of the southern range of Kasi hills, receives the highest average annual rainfall in the world. Distribution of rainfall received from southwest monsoon is largely governed by the relief or topography. Now, this distribution of rainfall which we are receiving from southwest monsoon, they are largely governed by relief and topography, means how they are going to cause rainfall in different parts of India. It is governed by topography and hills, we can say that. Topography means the land, okay, the height of land. For example, Mahabaleshwar on the windward side of Western Ghat registers a rainfall of over 250 centimeters. So Mahabaleshwar we see, because of its landform, because of hills, it received 250 centimeter of rainfall, whereas the Pune on the leeward side of the Ghat receive less than 70 centimeter of rainfall. So in Pune we see that the rainfall is 70 centimeter only. Now from these pictures, we have few pictures. We can see here the Bay of Bengal branch. Now see how the winds are monsoon winds. These monsoon winds are flowing. Southwesterly monsoons, okay, they are flowing, and because of these hilly areas, they are striking and they are changing their direction, so they might be changing their direction, and then they are entering in Bangladesh and rest of the India, okay, from this route. Here also we have few monsoony winds. So here also we can see that how from southwest, this is southwest direction, southwest, from southwest they are entering in India. So we are seeing that how they entered from this Arabian Sea route and how they entered in this Bay of Bengal route. So from Bay of Bengal route they move like this, and then from here there are some hills, and from striking through those hills they change their course and enter like this again in the India. Okay, so likewise, what is the title given? Monsoon wind in September. This is monsoon wind in September, and this is monsoon wind in November. Okay, so likewise, the heavy precipitation in the northeastern states, where it is located, northeastern states, these parts, we are talking about these parts, North Indian states. So likewise, the heavy precipitation in northeastern states is due to occurrence of hilly ranges in these states. So in these states we are seeing that hills play a very important role in the rainfall. So wherever there is a good amount of hill, there is a good amount of rainfall. So in northeastern states, because of these hills, they receive a good amount of rainfall. There is a decrease in rainfall as one goes from east to west. During this particular season, Kolkata receives about 120 centimeter, Patna about 102 centimeter, Allahabad 91 centimeter, and Delhi 56 centimeter. So as you move from east to west, as you move from east to west. From here, as you move from east to west direction, the amount of rainfall decreases. The Tamil Nadu coast remain dry during this season. This is because the Tamil Nadu coast is located parallel to the Bay of Bengal branch of the southwest monsoon. Further, it lies in the rain shadow area of the Arabian Sea branch of the southwest monsoon. Now, if you see the Kerala part here, this part remain dry because here you will not see hilly areas, and as well as the monsoon winds, they are blowing parallel. In Bay of Bengal branch, if you see, the monsoon winds are parallel, and Arabian Sea winds, when they are flowing, already they are striking with hills, and therefore this Kerala come under its rain shadow part, and therefore rain is neither received from this Arabian Sea branch nor from this Bay of Bengal branch. So we see that in this month the Tamil Nadu remain dry. Now retreating monsoon. The southwest monsoon starts retreating from northern India in the early October. So from northern India it starts retreating in the early October. Hence the months of October and November are known as retreating monsoon. So we call this October and November month as retreating monsoon. The reason for this retreat is that the monsoon trough of the low pressure over the Ganga plain become weaker due to apparent southward movement of the sun. Now, why this monsoon is retreating? The reason is that the low pressure which was developed because of the position of sun, now it starts becoming weaker. It starts becoming weaker due to the apparent southward movement of the sun. So as sun starts moving towards south, okay, this low pressure area over the Ganga region, it becomes weaker. The low pressure trough is gradually replaced by high pressure, and not only this low pressure, it starts becoming weak, but now high pressure starts developing. The retreat of the monsoon is marked by clear skies and drop in the night temperature. Now, what is the sign of this retreating monsoon? It is that in this season we see skies are very clear and there is a drop in night temperature. We see that temperature in night it falls. The land remain moist. The combination of high temperature and humidity give rise to an oppressive weather. This is commonly known as October heat. So in October month we see that because of the clear sky and the position of sun, it is very hot. Day temperature rises due to clear skies. The low pressure conditions are transferred to the center of Bay of Bengal. Now this low pressure area which was near the Ganga plain, near the center India, now it transferred, this low pressure zone, it transferred to the center of Bay of Bengal by early November, and this shift of the low pressure area is marked by cyclonic depressions which originate over the Andaman Sea. Now because of this shift of low pressure area, we see cyclonic waves, we see cyclones over the Andaman Sea. Some of the cyclonic depressions manage to cross the eastern coast of southern peninsula, resulting in the heavy and widespread rain on the coast of Tamil Nadu. Now some of these cyclonic depressions, cyclonic winds, they manage to cross the eastern coast of southern peninsula, resulting in a heavy and widespread rainfall in the coast of Tamil Nadu and part of Odisha. So we see that in the month of November, okay, Tamil Nadu and Odisha sometimes receive a heavy rainfall. These cyclonic storms move from northeast to the southwest. The retreating monsoon are generally dry except on the coastal areas of the Tamil Nadu, Odisha and part of Karnataka. The bulk of the rainfall of the Coromandel coast is derived from the depressions and cyclones. Retreating monsoon wind causes rainfall in some part that is heavy as summer monsoons. So this retreating monsoons wind causes rainfall in some part that is as heavy as the summer monsoon. So we receive a good amount of rainfall in these months also in some part of the India. Interior part of Deccan remain dry because they lie in the rain shadow of the Eastern Ghat. Now in this November month also, this Deccan part it remained dry. Tropical cyclones. There are tropical depressions, low pressure system originating in the Bay of Bengal caused by local variations of the heat and moisture. So here we are seeing that in the Bay of Bengal, because of local variation of temperature, there is a low pressure zone. They led to a tropical cyclone in the November and December, and because of this low pressure area, there is a cyclones in November and December. Such cyclones generally originate in the neighborhood of Andaman Island between 12° north and 17° north and travel west or northwest over the Bay of Bengal. So these cyclones they generally develop in the Andaman Island. Whenever they occur, they cause great loss of life and property due to heavy rain on the eastern coast region of the India. So whenever this low pressure zone develops, it causes a heavy rainfall, and because of this there is a loss of property and loss of life in India. October heat. October is marked by clear cloudless sky, high temperature and high humidity. So in the October month we see that sky is quite clear, the temperature is high and humidity is also there. As explained earlier, this sultry and oppressive weather is referred to as October heat. So this month, this period, this season we refer as October heat. So what is October heat? October heat is nothing but it is a period where the October month has a clear cloudy sky, high temperature and high humidity. It is transition period between the hot rainy season and the cold dry season. So this period, this October heat is a transition phase between this rainy season and cold dry season. So after October we will see that there is a cold season. By the end of October or by the beginning of November, fine weather conditions prevail over the rest of the subcontinent. So after November we will see that a fair weather condition it prevail over the rest of the subcontinent. The northeastern monsoon season. The cold weather season commences at the end of November and continues till March. So this northeastern monsoon is nothing but it is a period from month of November to March, and this period is characterized by cold weather. The skies are relatively clear with a dry weather. Night temperature are low, especially in northern India, but the days are pleasantly warm. So we see that in northern part of the India the temperature is quite low, but days are pleasantly warm. The mean temperature in the North Plain is below 20 degrees Celsius and get even lower in the Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab and Haryana. So we see that the average temperature is near about 20 degrees Celsius, and this temperature is getting lower and lower in Himachal Pradesh, Jammu and Kashmir, Punjab and Haryana. The temperature, the winter season, in the winter season, January is usually the coldest. Okay, let us see the temperature variation. So we see that January is the coldest month. The temperature remain quite low during the winter month over the Indian subcontinent. The temperature decreases from south to north. So we see that there is a decrease in temperature from south to north. The mean maximum temperature for the month of January at Thiruvananthapuram is as high as 31 degrees Celsius. At Calicut it is 26 degrees Celsius, at Chennai 24 degrees Celsius, at Varanasi about 16 degrees Celsius and at Jammu only 10 degrees Celsius. So the mean maximum temperature for the month of January, we see that in these different parts of the India, okay, if we start from the south, in south we see the temperature is quite high, it is 31 degrees Celsius. Then as we move to Calicut it is 26, near Chennai it is 24, Varanasi when we move towards north side it is about 16 degree, and when we move to north again, in Jammu it is only 10 degrees Celsius. This is the average temperature in the month of January. The night temperature in the Gangetic Plain varies from 2.5 degrees Celsius to 17.5 degrees Celsius. The temperature fall below the freezing point in hilly reaches of the Himalayas. So in hilly areas we find that the temperature is below freezing point, below 0 degrees Celsius. Dras Valley in the Kashmir near Kargil records a minimum temperature of minus 45 degrees Celsius. Oh my god, minus 45 degrees Celsius. It is the coldest place in India. Okay, we cannot even imagine to go there and this particular temperature, minus 45 degrees Celsius. At 0 degrees Celsius, water converts in ice. So what will happen to us? The excessive cold in the North India during this season is due to the following reason. Now, why this northern area is excessively cold? The reasons are: first, in the month of February, the cold wind from the Caspian Sea and Turkmenistan bring a cold wave over the northwestern part of the India. In the month of February, the cold winds from the Caspian Sea and Turkmenistan bring cold wave over the northwestern part of India. Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan experiences continental type of climate, as they are located far away from the sea, to experience its moderating influence, and the snowfall in the nearby Himalaya ranges create a cold wave situation. So the excessive cold in the North India during this season is due to the following reason. First reason is what? In the month of February, the cold wind from the Caspian Sea and Turkmenistan bring a cold wave over the northwestern part of India. So from Caspian Sea and from Turkmenistan, cold waves are coming to the India. This is the first reason. Second is Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan experiences a continental type of climate, as they are located far away from the sea to experience its moderating influence. Now, as Punjab, Haryana and Rajasthan, they are far away from the sea, so their moderating effect of the sea in temperature is not experienced in these states. Third, the snowfall in the nearby Himalayan ranges create a cold wave situation, and the snowfall in the Himalayan ranges, okay, it create a cold wave situation in nearby areas. So we see that this northern area is quite cold during this season, and these are the reasons. The peninsular India, the average temperature lies between 20 degrees Celsius to 25 degrees Celsius, and it does not have any well defined cold weather season. So as we see, the temperature in the peninsular India is relatively high. So there we don't have a well defined cold weather season. The coastal areas hardly experiences any seasonal change in the distribution pattern of temperature due to the moderating influence of the sea and proximity to the equator. So if we see the coastal areas in this peninsular regions, we see that because of moderating effect of the sea, there is hardly any variation in the temperature. For example, the mean maximum temperature for the zone at Thiruvananthapuram is 29.5 degrees Celsius, and it is 31 degrees Celsius for January. So in June, we see that in Thiruvananthapuram, the maximum temperature is 29.5 degree, and it is 31 degrees Celsius for January. Now let us see the pressure variations. The weather in this season is characterized by feeble high pressure conditions over the northwestern part of the plain. The weather in this season is characterized by a feeble high pressure. So pressure, if we talk about pressure, we see that here the pressure is high. So it characterized by feeble high pressure condition over the northwestern part of the plain. This is because of the oblique rays. Now pressure, if we see in this month, the pressure is high because now the sun is not hitting directly, it is hitting obliquely. Obliquely means at an angle. So the intensity of sun rays is less. So this is because the oblique rays of the sun, which reaches the subcontinent as the sun moves to the southern hemisphere. As the sun is now moving in the southern hemisphere, we find okay, oblique rays, and because of this, here we have relatively high pressure. During this season, the northeast trade wind prevail over the country. So what happens during this season? There is wind direction, it changes from northeast. Now in rainy season, we have seen that wind is flowing from southwest. Now it is flowing from northeast. So northeast trade wind starts flowing over the country, and these wind blow from land to the sea, and hence for most part of the country it is dry season. So as these winds are blowing from land to the sea, okay, there is no moisture in it. It is a dry season. However, when this wind passes over the Bay of Bengal, they pick up some moisture and causes some amount of rainfall on the Coromandel coast. But these winds, when they passes over the Bay of Bengal, they pick up some moisture and hence they cause some amount of rainfall on the Coromandel coast. As these wind blow from northeast to southwest, they are called northeast monsoon wind. So as they are blowing from northeast to southwest, we call this as a northeast monsoon wind. And hence we call this season as northeast monsoon season, northeast monsoon season. Okay. Northwest is southwest is rainy season and northeast is your winter season. Temperate cyclones, western disturbances. A characteristic feature of the cold weather season is the inflow of depression from the west and the northwest. These low pressure systems, called the western disturbances, originate in the West Asia and regions near the Mediterranean Sea. They travel eastward across Iran and Pakistan and reaches India during the winter season. They bring the much needed winter season or winter rain over the plains and snowfall in the mountains. On an average, 4 or 5 such depressions affect India in each of the winter month. They are generally active between December and February. Though the amount of winter rainfall is small, it is considerable importance for the cultivation of rabi crops. Okay, so temperate cyclones. Now in western side we find cyclones because of this pressure variation. So a characteristic feature of the cold weather season is the inflow of depression. Depression means low pressure area from the west and the northwest. So there is a low pressure area from west and northwest, and this low pressure system called the western disturbances. Now these low pressure systems we called as western disturbances. It originate in the West Asia. It originated in the West Asia and the regions near the Mediterranean Sea. So from where it is originating from West Asia and Mediterranean Sea, and they travel eastward across the Iran and Pakistan and reaches India during the winter season. So these low pressure areas, they are traveling, okay, they are traveling from Pakistan, from Iran, and Pakistan from Iran. So from we are seeing that from Asia, where it is creating these disturbances are originating in West Asia. From West Asia, it is traveling from Iran, Pakistan, and then it reaches India during the winter season, and they bring a much needed winter rain over the plain and snowfall in the mountains. And because of this cyclonic waves, we receive rainfall in winter season and snowfall in the mountainous regions. On an average, 4 or 5 such depressions affect India. So on an average in this season, we see that 4 or 5 such cyclones affect India in each of the winter month, and they generally active between December and February. Though the amount of winter rainfall is small, it is it is of the considerable importance for the cultivation of rabi crops. So here we see the rainfall is less, but this less rainfall is much needed for the rabi crops. So this is good, we can say. Now rainfall, most part of the India do not receive rainfall in the winter season. This is because the winter monsoon have little humidity, and due to anticyclonic circulation of land, circulation on land, the possibility of rain from them decreases. So in winter season, in winter season also winds are flowing, but now the winds are flowing from land to the sea. So these winds, first of all, they are dry. Okay, they have no much moisture. Secondly, because of anticyclonic circulation, there is possibility of less rainfall. However, there are some areas which do receive rainfall in the winter season. They are as follows. But some part of the India, they receive rainfall. What are they? They are central part of India and northern part of peninsula get occasional rainfall in winter. So central part of India and northern part of peninsula, they occasionally receive rainfall in winter. Some weak temperate cyclones from the Mediterranean Sea causes rainfall in Delhi, Haryana, Punjab and Uttar Pradesh. Though the amount of this rainfall is meager, it is quite beneficial for the Rabi crop. The northeastern part of India also get rainfall. During the winter month, Arunachal Pradesh and Assam get rain between 25 mm to 50 mm during the winter. So in winter season, we see that some part of the India, they receive rainfall, little bit of rainfall. In the month of October and November, the northeast monsoon, while crossing over the Bay of Bengal, pick up moisture and bring torrential rainfall over the Tamil Nadu and coast of southern tip of Andhra Pradesh. Distribution of rainfall. The distribution of rainfall is determined by the following: the pressure condition and the direction of the relief feature. Now distribution of rainfall, it is how we can decide how much rainfall in which area. So it depends on the pressure condition. First responsible thing is pressure and the second is direction of relief. The direction of wind bearing moisture. The other condition is in which direction the wind is flowing, and third is cyclonic depression determined by the pressure gradient. Cyclonic depressions which are determined by pressure change. In India, India can be divided into 4 rainfall regions. Now, based on these factors, we divide India in 4 rainfall regions. First is heavy rainfall region. This region experiences more than 200 centimeter of rainfall annually and include the following areas. So, based on how much rainfall is happening in India, we divide India in 4 parts. The first part is, we say, heavy rainfall region, where the rainfall is more than 200 centimeter. The windward side of western. So, what are these areas? So, these areas are windward side of Western Ghat, like the western coastal plain and the slopes of the Western Ghat. Second, Meghalaya hills, that is Garo, Kasi and Jantia. The southern slopes of eastern Himalayas, Assam, Arunachal Pradesh and West Bengal. So these are all the areas where we have heavy rainfall. Second is moderate rainfall. The region receives rainfall between 100 centimeter to 200 centimeter. The following areas are included in this region. First is the northern part of Andhra Pradesh. What are the regions which include here? Northern part of the Andhra Pradesh, the southern part of Tamil Nadu, northern part of Andhra Pradesh, the southern part of Tamil Nadu, middle Ganga Valley, some portion of Western Ghat, eastern Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Odisha. Third is low rainfall region. The rainfall in this region is low, varying from 50 to 100. Low rainfall region means here the rainfall is between 50 to 100 centimeter, and the areas of low rainfall are part of Deccan Plateau, comprising the region of Karnataka, Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu, eastern Rajasthan, Punjab, Haryana and Kashmir. So all these points you have to remember. Fourth is scanty rainfall region, so where rainfall is below 50 centimeter. So these areas get the lesser rainfall, that is less than 50 centimeter annually. Desert and semi-desert areas are included in this. The following areas comes in this region: southern Punjab, western Rajasthan and parts of Ladakh. The rain shadow region of the Western Ghat lying in the Deccan Plateau. Features of the rainfall. The main feature of rainfall, there is a rainfall over 3 months and rest of the year is mostly dry. 70% of the annual rainfall occur in the rainy season. The rains are mainly of relief type. The windward slopes of the mountain get more rainfall than the leeward side. So the windward side they receive more rainfall than leeward side. Only a small portion of rainfall is received from sources other than monsoon, like cyclonic rainfall and conventional rainfall, convectional rainfall. Okay, the quantity and the time of occurrence of the rainfall cannot be predicted as the rainfall is erratic. It is because of this uncertainty that sometimes there are flood and sometimes there are drought. India has an agrarian economy depending on rainfall. As such, rainfall affect the economy of the country. So as India is an agricultural country here, and this agriculture depend on rainfall, so this rainfall affect the economy of our country. Okay, so this is all about this chapter. Now there are a few charts are there. Okay, I think we will discuss about all these charts in our next class. So in next class we will see all these charts. So again it is a kind of summary that we will see, and by that we will finish our chapter. Thank you.